name's Tom Wilson, Superintendent Anderson School District 5. I'm beginning my 4th year as Superintendent in Anderson, my 39th year in public education. Anderson School District 5, we have approximately 13,000 students, about 1,800 employees, which makes us one of the larger employers in Anderson County. We have 25 school sites. That includes elementary school, our career center, charter school, all middle schools, high schools. We have two traditional high schools. We also have a magnet school, Southwood Academy of the Arts, which is a standalone magnet for 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. But we have over 500 high school students who take one or more classes there as an elective. So we're able to. So technically, if you're in one of our high schools, you've got 4 campuses where you can take a class. You can take, if you're a Hannah student, you theoretically could take a class at Westside, a class at Southwood, and also classes at our Career Center.
Tell me some bragging points about your schools. What are some of the good things going on in District 5 people might not know about or need to know about?
Well, there's several things we're excited about this year. Number one, we were able to pass this year's budget without a tax increase. In fact, property taxes will decrease in District 5 because of the rollback with the sales tax and us not increasing operational tax, which is the first time District 5 has been able to do that in a long, long time, and we're excited to do that. Our revenue from our sales tax, which was passed 2 years ago, is coming in higher than projected, which is a good thing. You may recall that 20% of that money is going to roll back property indebtedness that everyone pays on property, whether on their home, on their business, if you own multiple homes. So that's going to be a tax savings for everyone that owns property. But those numbers are coming in very, very strong. Right now, we've got about 17 projects going on. Some are large, like building of the field houses at both high schools. We're finishing the renovations on the stadiums. We put roofs on Hannah and Westside. We're finishing those projects as I speak. We're doing some major work at Project Challenge Playhouse with some new storage facilities, creating a new facade on the outside of that. And I would encourage anyone, if you've ever been to one of those plays, to go. They're quite impressive. It involves students from all our schools are involved in that. We're expanding Robert Anderson Middle School with like a 28 classroom addition and renovations to the cafeteria in preparations for closing Lakeside Middle School, which this will be the last year that Lakeside will be in existence. Next year, all those students will be at Robert Anderson. And that will be the site of the new joint Anderson District 3, 4, and 5 Career Center. We have the preliminary plans done. All 3 boards and superintendents have signed off on that. It's going to be a quite impressive facility. And what is unique about that facility, it's going to be adjacent to Tri-County Technical College. So in essence, it'll be one campus, and it will be an asset not only to us, but also Tri-County Tech as we work to develop closer partnerships with them. We could not have done this without the sales tax that was passed. It's been remarkable, and I'm confident in 15 years when this sales tax expires, the community will renew it because of all the good work that's been done. Hopefully people have seen those signs that say, you know, your penny at work. We also completed a new roof at McCants. McCants Middle School is one of our older schools, needed a lot of work. We are going to keep that facility, and we're going to do some renovations of that. We have looked at selling part of the frontage there on 81. We've had a lot of interest in that because that's very valuable property. We're in the process of having that surveyed at this very moment. What I'm most proud of, other than, you know, we're certainly excited about where we are financially. We're in great shape with our fund balance, which is our savings account. which you need so you don't have to go borrow money to make payroll. But our projected graduation numbers really look strong at all three sites, at Hannah, at Westside, and at our charter school. Those aren't official yet, but I think the community will be very pleased. I know I am from what I've seen, and that's really the bottom line. How many students are you graduating in 4 years from the day they enter the 9th grade? So we're excited about that. We're in the process of designing the new Fine Arts Center for Southwood Academy of the Arts. That was on our promotional literature that we did for the sales tax. So everything on that we told the community we were going to do, the money's been earmarked. We're confident we'll have the money to do it. We've got contingencies in place to make that happen. So academically, we're strong. In arts, we're moving ahead. Our chamber choir continues to impress audiences all over. They sang at Carnegie Hall in May, and that numbers continues to grow. Our band programs are growing. We all know the marquee of the T.L. Hanna Band. We've put some money into our band programs with new equipment, new instruments, new storage facilities, and the third leg of the academics, arts, and athletics. Both our athletic programs at both high schools have shown tremendous improvement, as the community well knows from our football teams last year, and we're excited about the prospects for the coming year athletically. And our new weight rooms have really paid huge dividends to have strength and conditioning coaches for our male and female athletes. And I think the community is going to see rapid gains in what our female athletes are doing because of better training, better conditioning, and we're excited to be a part of it. And we've got a lot of men and women that are working very hard to continue to move Anderson 5 forward in all those areas, academics, arts, and athletics. In August of 19, our plan is to open the new Anderson Institute of Technology, which is a joint career center between Anderson Districts 3, 4, and 5. We have worked closely with business and industry to develop the pathways. We've worked with economic development here in Anderson County. We actually hired a consultant to work with us who was recently named Career and Technical Education Director of the Year in South Carolina. She's been our point person, putting all those pieces together to what do we need to offer, what is Michelin telling us, what is Bosch telling us, what are all those industries like that telling us they're going to need. And we've tried to marry those relationships together so that when kids go through that new Institute of Technology, the goal is where they'll have multiple options. Some will go straight into the world of work. Some will go to Tri-County Tech. Some will go to Clemson or Georgia Tech and become engineers or, in medicine and different things. What the community needs to understand is every student needs to go through a pathway at the new Anderson Institute of Technology, whether they're going to be a doctor, a veterinarian, an attorney, a welder, because all those pathways lead to employment at some level. And that's the goal, that when students graduate, they got multiple options that will lead to gainful employment, to build our economy and build this community and create more high-paying jobs. It's hard to move a community ahead with low-paying jobs. And it will be high-tech. It will be the kind of skills that attract businesses to come here, because most industry, when they look at a community, they look at a lot of things, but they look at what's the public schools like, what are our opportunities to have a skilled workforce. And we believe this is going to fit nicely with where this county wants to go and really where the upstate's going. So it's very timely that it's being completed at this time. We wish it'd be finished now. But we're having to enlarge Robert Anderson first before we build that. It's going to be about 120 28,000 square foot facility. We believe it will give an uplift to 28 bypass, and hopefully this structure will lead to other positive growth on the 28 bypass corridor, because it's going to really uplift everything over here as far as a modern facility, and we believe it's going to really be the shot in the arm to develop other growth. Yeah, there's still a mindset in a lot of people that, well, if I don't go to college, I'm going to be working the way it was like working in a cotton mill in the 50s and 60s. Well, manufacturing has changed significantly. You go in a lot of manufacturing now, it's total difference, high tech, robotics. You go in a BMW plant, or you go into a Kia plant that I was involved in Georgia. It's highly skilled, highly technical manufacturing, where the skills are different. We've moved away from that. Someone standing over you telling you exactly what to do. Now what folks tell me, employers, we need people with good success skills, which I call showing up on time, working as a team, being able to communicate, keeping a positive attitude, and then they'll develop those other skills. So, and all those soft skills, as they're referred to, but I call them success skills, are embedded in everything that will be in this career center. They'll be embedded in all the pathways. Teamwork, communication, problem solving. That is significantly different than what manufacturing was 50 years ago. We've had some manufacturing in this area tell us, we'll hire every student that goes through the Mechatronics pathway because we just can't find them, which is advanced manufacturing, involves a lot of those skills in advanced manufacturing. So we think it's going to be a great opportunity for Anderson, not only for our students, but for the economic development side. And when that, we all win. Moving forward, obviously we've got a lot of these construction projects we got to finish. You always have a challenge in education. How do we keep up with the technology changes? Right now, every student in 5th grade through 12th is a Chromebook. All digital. I think one of our challenges is how do we make more teachers embrace that? Because not only is it a change for the students, but it's a big change for a lot of our instructors, our teachers. So we work hard on, bringing them along. So, a lot of the younger teachers, they grew, they may have had it in college and things. So we've got to focus our professional development along those lines, and then keep up with the changes. The shelf life of technology is not real long. And so how do you stay ahead of the curve? Do you look at purchase? Do you look at lease? So all those kind of decisions have to be made. The other challenge that we're going to have is, and anything that happens in the greater society filters into public schools. We all know what our country is going through now, divisiveness. How do we deal with that to embrace diversity, embrace change, and make it in a way that's positive, because that's the world our students are going to live in. We're going to become more diverse. We're not going to be less, whether it's, religion, whether it's race, whatever it is, that's the world that our kids are going to have to compete in. So, we've got to do more talking about those issues, the political divisiveness that we're seeing in the country. How do we get through all that so it doesn't filter down and become a divisive issue in schools? And so I think that's going to be a challenge. We're the most diverse. We have the highest poverty. And hopefully as these jobs improve and salaries improve, and we can get at that. And another big challenge is, how do you break the cycle of generational poverty? If you have a child, statistics are clear. Mom and dad at home, mom and dad, whatever education level they have, directly impacts the child. And we've got some children that we call couch children that sleep on a different couch every night. It can be an aunt, it can be a relative, it could be whatever. And how do you ensure those kids have the same success as the kids that mom and dad, they sleep on clean sheets, they eat as a family, they know where they're next, they've never worried about being hungry. And so how do you ensure that all those kids get the same quality education when they're all bringing different things to school? And it's not just us, it's nationwide. I mean, we're seeing this, and a lot of it is just understanding poverty. We've got great success with some students, but some students we don't. And it's about hiring caring teachers and supporting them and letting them do their job to meet the needs of students. And so that's a huge challenge, and hopefully someday that will improve. But right now it's a major problem. One of the things we stress here is that every decision we make needs to be in the best interest of children. Now, you'll hear every school district in America say that. But unfortunately, sometimes educators, they make decisions what's best for adults. But we preach that all the time. It's not about what's right for adults. It's what's best for the child. And where do they need to be? Because if we don't do our job right as educators, ultimately we're going to pay for it. Because you can look at what's happening in the country with the aging of America, the number of retirees per worker, and how that's changing. And if we don't do a good job so we can have kids that can be successful and be gainfully employed, we're going to get to the point where there are going to be more people riding the train than pulling the train. And those that are going to be pulling it are going to be paying more into Social Security, more into Medicare, more into Medicaid, because there's going to be less workers per people receiving it. So that's why it's imperative that we graduate kids who can be employed, whether it's a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher, a welder, a pipe fitter, or HVAC, but jobs that are high skilled and can support a family and educate their children, so we can continue this great experiment that started over 200 years ago called the United States. We're the only country in the world that educates every child. And it's a huge challenge to have equity and excellence, because every child's different. They come from different backgrounds, different strengths, different weaknesses, and I, it just flies all over me when, let's compare us to Finland or, wherever. Well, we don't turn anybody away, and we educate every child, and it's costly to do that. It's a challenge to do that, but it's the right thing to do that. And I think that's something we should all be proud of. And I think we need to have more of those conversations with the general community to understand what not only educators are up against, but our society is up against. That if we don't get it straight, the first 200 years may be better than the next 200. And I think that's the ultimate challenge.